Welcome to the
we're
Ball
showing his
Podcast,
clothes.
where the ball is in our court. I am Pavan Naganti, here with.
Eric Cabin.
Sammy Hoyt, once again.
Oh my God, what a weekend! By the time we record this, our NFL Draft special episode is out. Hope you guys watch it, and hopefully you guys like it. Eric is alive again, by the way, so that's very good.
He is risen.
That's why he is here. It is great to
They
see.
tried to count me out.
He's back.
I knew I'd be back.
I love when they count me out.
As always, this podcast is being recorded on a Monday. When you guys will see it, it will be a Wednesday.
Why?
But let's get straight into it. We got NBA playoffs to cover. The Kings-Warriors series is done, and Suns-Nuggets also was played over the weekend. Two great games, honestly. Honestly, on the Kings-Warriors side, it really wasn't a great game, but Steph Curry, absolute greatness, showing the world and reminding everyone who he is. But I'll get straight into it. Eric, just talk about the series overall, what you thought, and just what you thought of the Kings season, really.
I mean, I think I mentioned this in a prior episode. The Kings season is nothing but a success. Despite them being a first-round exit, I mean, their first playoff appearance in 16, 17 years. And this is just such a young core. I mean, I kind of saw them getting eliminated in the first round, but they kept it a lot closer than I thought they would. It took a literal all-time performance from Curry to get past this. And, I mean, yeah, Game 7 was a blowout, but not a great game is actually debatable. I think this of course, you always want to see close Game 7s, but
They lost by 20, Eric.
of course, you want to see close Game 7s, but when you get this type
Steph
of
dropped
performance,
a
I think it's
50-piece
fine.
McNugget.
Exactly.
50.
Exactly.
That's like
I think it's
$12.
fine. I think
Where's he going?
that's a lot of.
Where's he
Is he
going?
is he using the whiteboard already?
He's pulling a me. The marker's too dry. You can't see it.
Yeah, good try, Pavon. But
Get the Wilt photo.
No,
Eric, can
yeah,
you edit
and
like a
then-
Wilt photo? Can you put the? Can I actually put the Wilt photo of you in the edit? The 81 or whatever it
I
was.
could do that. Yeah, you'll see it over Pavon's face or the whiteboard right now because he's too scared. But so Curry obviously with 50. No one is talking about Looney's 21 rebounds in Game 7.
Yeah, I was
too.
gonna mention that.
I think that's huge, especially because the Warriors only out-rebounded the Kings by 6. And, besides Curry's historic scoring performance, rebounds win games, and that was something. Pavon, can you please sit down, dude? We get it. You don't have to write. You don't have to write the number 50 in Times New Roman, Merriweather, Arial, Comic Sans. Like we get it.
It's a,
You forgot
it's a
Cambria.
classroom, bro. I can't just leave 3 50s just written on the board for a teacher to come in and
Very
just be
well
like,
could.
Why
Says
is
who?
there-
Says
why
who?
is there
Says who?
50 on the
You
board?
can do that. Who says that? I would also like to add, on top of Eric's point, wasn't that the second or third time Looney that did that in the series, 20-plus rebounds, right?
I actually don't know.
I believe there was some record that he broke. I can't. Maybe I'm just making that up, but
How many offensive rebounds did he have?
Offensive?
Wasn't
I
it?
don't know.
Was it double digits? I don't actually remember.
Likely. I mean,
But
21
oh my
total.
goodness, yeah, just impressive, crazy.
monster on the board.
So yeah.
But yeah. Sammy, are you finished with your thoughts, or you just want me to go?
No, yeah, you can go. I was just looking at stuff.
Yeah. Honestly, just very happy with the Kings season. I feel like De'Aaron Fox, he was one of those players that was in danger of, not being a player that was going to be recognized in terms of winning. He finally broke that barrier with this season. Won a lot of games in a very stacked Western Conference. Him and Sabonis have shown that their young core is capable of being kept together and winning basketball games, at least in regular season fashion. I feel like they competed their butts off against a very good Warriors team. I just think the inexperience really showed in that Game 7. I think they weren't really settled in. They didn't really look like themselves like they did in the first 6 games.
Not very
the Warriors'
disciplined either.
experience, mainly in terms of the execution and in terms of how they fought from start to finish, because you do have to maintain your game plan from the start till the end in a pivotal Game 7 where every single play matters. So I think the Warriors just made more plays throughout the night, and it just got too much to the Kings. So I just think really Steph Curry, though, just gave us a reminder of really who the heck he is. I'm really
Big I'm
hyped to
him
see this
moment.
Warriors-Lakers series, which we'll talk about later. But yeah, honestly, Eric, I'll go back to you again. Where do you think Fox ranks among point guards in the league right now with his great season?
Yeah, I mean, I also think I mentioned this in a previous episode, but yeah, Fox needs his respect, and I think behind Steph and Luca, I seriously think I might have him third now over guys like Dame and Ja. And it's actually funny. So before this episode, before we start recording, I was just looking up like top point guards of the league this year to see if I found any like rankings or articles or anything like that. And I saw one from the beginning of the year from the Sporting News. I tried to find like a more major source, I guess, like ESPN or Bleacher Report or something. I couldn't find anything like that. But the Sporting News. And do you want to take any guesses where they ranked De'Aaron Fox in terms of point guards in the league at the beginning of the season?
Is this like a 69?
He's got to be like 15 to 20,
Nice.
right?
15. They had him dead
What?
middle of the
Yeah.
league.
Yeah,
They
that
had
sounds about
Marcus
right.
Smart, Fred Van Vliet, LaMelo over him. I just think that's ridiculous, and I'm so glad he's showing the world who he is. If you don't have him like at least top 5 next season
At this point.
then I
Was
don't-
that list at the
I don't
beginning
know
of the
what
season,
kind
or was
of
that
Fox
list?
you were watching?
It's at the beginning
Of the
I think.
That was the
Yeah.
beginning of the season. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I thought.
So
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
I think the top three. I think the top three is not. It's not unreasonable to say he's top 3 at this point. I don't know. There's not. I don't want to say I put him over Luca, but I think he's getting there. I think he. I don't. That's a tough question. I don't know. I would put him close to Luca.
Here's
It's
my
hard to
thing,
say.
though.
yeah. Go
I-
ahead.
I'll say this. So Steph's undeniably first. I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah, for sure.
But Luca and Dame have this, like, I don't know how to really describe it, but, like, in terms of building a whole entire offensive system around them, I mean, those are just, like, 2 straight-up offensive machines. And what Dame does in terms of the pressure that he builds on a defense with his range and the type of looks that the people on his team can get, and he's shown year after year what he can do in crunch time. Like, I mean, Dame, I think, is a superstar. So I don't know if Fox is really there yet. I think it's Steph, Luka, Dame. Those are my top 3. Ja has shown 2 years now of being great. He has also put Memphis on the map, similar to how Fox has, but, you know, another year of doing it. They were the 2 seed this year, so give him his respect. And then I think Fox and Shea for that 5th spot.
Ooh.
I think we don't talk about Shea enough, but Fox and Shea for that 5th spot. And then you have a plethora of guys after that. You can talk about the Treys, the Brunsons, the Hardens, the Kyries, yada, yada, yada. But I think Fox and Shea fight for that 5th spot.
So would you put?
And
Would you
then-
put? Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but would you put like?
No, you're good.
Would you put that top 3 in the same tier as Fox, or would you put him a tier below? If that makes sense.
I'd say Steph, Luka. I'd say Steph, Luka, Dame are a little bit higher than John Fox.
So
just
if
because
you-
they've done it for a little bit, and Luka's done some historic
Yeah,
stuff.
that's fair.
So
So if you were to put it into tiers, you'd probably put those top 3 in the first tier, and then Fox,
Yes.
Shea, Fox, and then
Yeah.
whatever else next
yeah,
tier.
Ja, and then Fox and Shea
Yeah.
for that 5th spot. I think just cause like those guys are so much easier to build an offense around. I feel like Fox. I don't know if I don't know. Maybe I'm just saying that because it's only a year. Like I'm in the mindset that you got to do it year over year. Like you
I
can't
respect-
really just
yeah.
say it's
I
like
agree.
Bradley Beal was a scoring leader. Like I don't know if Bradley Beal, like he's a scorer, but people were overrating his season after he had the scoring leader. So like
That's true.
let's just pump the brakes a little bit in terms of guy plays one great year of basketball and then we just go ahead and put him in that tier, you know?
Yeah, I respect you not being affected by the recency bias.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah. It's
But,
hard
yeah,
not to though
because
after you see
do
what
not
he's
get
done.
me wrong. I love De'Aaron Fox. I love De'Aaron Fox.
And
We
it is
all
really
do.
it's really difficult to ignore the recency bias when he did do what he did lead the Kings to a 3 seed and almost knocking the Warriors out of the playoffs.
Yes. Yes.
And I'd also like to say one thing before we move on from this game. I was gonna sit here and ask a question that I've been asking Pavon for most of the series, and that question is, what in the world does Kevin Huerter do? Like, what is his job on a team? What does he do? Because
He's still from Atlanta. I don't know.
because he is dog shit. What does he do?
In the
Someone please tell me
playoffs,
what Kevin Huerter does.
he's in the playoffs. He's not good. It's like I was talking with Max about
Lights
this.
too bright. Hold on, wait.
Our good friend Max. Like Joe, he's literally Joe Harris, bro. Like him and Joe Harris. I don't know what it is. Like they just get to the playoffs and then they just disappear.
The
Like,
lights,
they
it's
just,
like Jared Allen. The lights are too bright.
Was that a
Lights
ring
were
light,
brighter than
Sammy?
expected.
Yes, it is a ring light. I made it
You have
brighter
a ring light?
too. Yeah,
We're gonna need
it's right in front of me. That's how there's light in front of me.
Nuh-uh.
Boom.
Thumbnail again. I have to do a different face. Hold on. All right, yeah, go. That's a good one. That's a good
Okay,
one.
we good?
All right.
We
Yeah,
good?
we're good.
We good? All right,
You
thumbs
can
up,
moderate
thumbs
move
up,
on
okay.
now. Sorry.
Yep,
Okay,
yep,
bet.
yep.
Eric, you can work with that.
Sammy makes the thumbnails.
I make the thumbnails.
Other great game over the weekend though. Suns Nuggets game 1. I mean, I don't like the Suns.
Great.
You guys know this, so I'm going. I love that game. Just watching the Nuggets, just
Oh, great game in the sense that
absolutely
you
put
like
on a
the
show.
outcome.
Yes.
Okay, I was gonna
yes,
say.
yes, because it was not a good game, but
was
I
not a good
loved
game.
the game just because I do not like the Suns. But we can't really I got to put my bias aside. Eric, I'll start with you as the resident Suns fan. Just talk about this game and what you think is going to happen in this series, and just give us a prediction.
I mean, I think it's just the same story as always. I'm tired of Aiton's laziness. Like, literally, I don't know why was he drafted number 1 overall. God knows. But yeah, no, he left Durant to all the rebounds. And like I said with the last game, rebounding wins games, especially in the playoffs. And we got out rebounded by 11. Aiton only had 7 boards. Katie had double that with 14. Like, he's out there playing point center, and he's not 2018 LeBron. I wish, but he's not. So like, we can't have him doing that. And yeah, also hell of a performance from Jamal Murray yet again too. Going back to the point guard convo, like I don't think he's as high just because like he seems to only do this in the playoffs. Either that or I'm hella sleeping on him. But I think he only does it in the playoffs, it seems. But he does still need more respect too, in addition to Fox. But anyway, that's a slight tangent.
And to your point, to your point about Jamal Murray, and which Pavon pointed out to me this weekend, this is his first playoff since what, the bubble in 2020. And so not to even skip a beat, I think is super impressive. But sorry, go on.
For sure. No, yeah. But with all that being said, Suns in 6. Why? Because I'm delusional.
That's a fair reasoning.
I'm not
That's fair
confident
reasoning.
in that at all at this point, but I picked them to win it all, so like I have to stick with it.
I'm the same. I'm the same way. It's fine.
Exactly. You get it.
No,
You
but
get
I also have the Suns in 7 probably. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I overreacted against the Clippers. I know the Clippers are much different than the Nuggets are, but I overreacted when the Clippers beat the Suns game 1. So I don't know. You never know. It could happen. It could still happen. But I don't want them to win. I picked the Suns to win the get out of the West, but I don't want them to. So I win either way.
Smart man.
Fair enough.
smarter, not harder.
Honestly, my thoughts on this is I've never been high on the Suns, as you guys could tell. The Clippers in round 1. you make all these predictions barring injuries. Clippers got unlucky with injuries. I'm not gonna ride that excuse. Suns won. Booker had a hell of a series.
So
We're
did
gonna go
Westbrook,
with
to be fair.
that. But here's my thing, right? You get to this Nuggets team. The scoring is by committee, right? But that doesn't mean they don't have a star either. Let's put it straight. Jamal Murray is a star. When it comes to the playoffs, he shows up, he plays. I know it's only the bubble year and this year, but you get Jokic, you get a star in Murray, you got KCP, you got Porter, you got Gordon, you got guys that can give you scoring on any given night. You got bodies you can throw at Booker with KCP and Bruce Brown, which I thought were the additions to put this team over the top. The depth will make the difference in this series because to me, Chris Paul is old. I feel like his shot making is not going to be consistent enough for them to win this series.
And bald. He's also bald.
Whoa.
KD and Book will be excellent on both sides of the ball. But Ayton, man, like I think Jokic had 19 rebounds.
Yep.
And Ayton had 7. You cannot be getting out rebounded 19-7 and calling yourself dominating. Like, come on. So I think if they win this series, it's going to be on the firepower of Ayton. He's got to be at least on the level of Jokic in terms of scoring and rebounding the ball, and he's got to be a defensive anchor. Because there's no way Booker and KD can keep up for a full series their defensive and offensive intensity that they had in Game 1. They both played excellent on both sides of the ball in Game 1. I don't know if they can do that throughout the whole series. I will say this series will be a long series, though. Nuggets in 7 is my prediction, and I think it's ultimately just going to come down to the depth of the Nuggets. And I think the Suns will just be flat towards the end of the series, and it's really going to show. And that's how the Nuggets are really going to win this series. Back to Eric's point, though, in terms of Jamal Murray, like, where are we really, like, talking among the point guards in the league? Like, what do you guys really think in terms of, like, where he ranks? Eric, you can elaborate more on what you talked about earlier.
So yeah, you still have guys like Shea, Ja, Dame over him.
Yeah.
But I think he's got to be in that like top 10 threshold next season, just off the top of my head, I think. I mean, like you might have like Brunson or Garland too up there maybe, but like Murray, arguably above any of those. Very interchangeable. Trae Young, like those guys you mentioned at the end of our conversation before with Fox are kind of in that mix with Jamal Murray too, I think. So that top 10-ish threshold, I think, for sure, going into next season. Sammy?
You got anything, Sammy?
No, I think that's fair. I mean, I don't really have it. I think I was gonna say pretty much the same thing, just like top 10-ish, essentially. Yeah, it is very difficult to find 10 point guards that are better than Jamal Murray, though, especially when it comes to the playoffs. But yeah, like I said earlier, he's really impressed me with how he's just bounced back from. I know he's played the whole season, but the playoffs are a completely different beast, and not being able to play in the playoffs for 2 years, being injured, and then coming back and not even batting an eye, is beyond impressive to me.
Yeah, so I was like looking through and making my list in terms of where Murray ranks. So I have my Steph, Luka, Dame at the top, Ja, Fox, Shea. So that's 6 right there. And then you got to have Trae and Brunson in there. So that gives me 8. You get Harden at 9. And then I think for that 10th spot, you could go Kyrie, Garland, or Jamal Murray. So, I mean, I think Kyrie gets that 10 spot. And then Jamal Murray or Garland, I mean, it's early to tell with Garland. But you could make a very good argument right now. It's Jamal Murray. It's hard to put my Cavs bias aside, but I think Jamal Murray might be better than Garland. Like, that might be a fair thing to say.
I
It's
agree
early,
as of
though.
right now.
Yeah, it's early to say, but I think Murray's better. This is going to be my favorite series of the second round. Lakers-Warriors.
Same.
A LeBron-Steph matchup again. I'm just going to get this out of the way. The Lakers are going to the championship. and they're going to win the championship this year. I'm just ready to say it. I'm ready to say it. You guys know I had them going to the
Sammy,
finals.
this is a thumbnail.
And I said,
Your hair's cut off. I can't. You got to move to the side. There you go. There you go. Now I can use that. Sorry.
Okay.
Continue, Paul.
okay,
Continue.
okay. What? When the Lakers win the championship, though, come back to me because I had them going to the finals. I'm gonna double down and say
Right.
they're gonna win the championship.
What?
And yeah, I just gotta say that. But yeah, just a great series. LeBron and Steph, the NBA got what they wanted in terms of the marketing game. I mean, it can't get any better in terms of marketing with LeBron and Steph Curry. So yeah, Adam Silver got what he wanted. But yeah, Eric, I'll go back to you again. Just like thoughts on how the Lakers and Warriors did last round, and what you think in terms of predictions for this series.
I mean, I'm gonna go Warriors in 6 here. I'm sorry, Pavon. I'm so sorry. Warriors will have home court advantage in this series, and although last series proved that they can, in fact, win on the road despite their regular season.
I don't know if that
blunders.
statement wasn't leave your seat worthy. I think that one was a bit of a Bikram yoga stretch, if you will.
Hey, we need to exaggerate a little bit. We need more views.
It's not gonna do it.
think
They can, in
leaving
fact,
the
win on the
seat is gonna do
road,
it.
but this should only help them having home court advantage. However, I'll give Pavon a little hope because I say that if it goes to 7, I got the Lakers because I just don't see LeBron and AD losing in Game 7, and I don't know if they lose unless Steph is historic again,
It's very possible, though.
which it is. It's very possible. But Warriors in 6 in general.
Okay. This series is so hard for me, so difficult because I love so much about both of these teams the more that I watch them. You know, with I think if the key in this series to me is Anthony Davis. If he can show up, which he hasn't been doing for every single game in the last series, even Vaughn can admit, if he does that for even a few games in this Warriors series, it's going to make it so difficult for the Lakers to come through with this. That being said, I don't see Steph dropping 50 in a game like he did last series. I don't see Kevon Looney being as insane on the boards as he was last series with Anthony Davis. So it's a really good matchup, and it's obviously the matchup the NBA probably wanted. But I am going to go Lakers in 7 in this matchup.
Fair.
Yeah. I mean, I'm the same way. I think it really just comes down to matchup-wise. Lakers are solid on the perimeter in terms of defending the three-pointer. They were in the regular season. I think they will be very good on the perimeter against these guys. I will say a lot of people have been trying to bring up the season series as if that matters. Like Steph Curry wasn't out for a couple of those games. Like that doesn't really matter.
I don't care.
But the Lakers are good defending the three. I know Looney and Draymond. Looney fights a lot on the rebounds, and I feel like AD will really cover that up. He has been great rebounding. That is one thing that has remained consistent throughout the regular season and the playoffs. I think he's having his best rebounding year of his career. I think more so just playing the 5 has helped him just snag all the rebounds for them. And then LeBron is also a great rebounder. We can't deny that. So I think rebounding-wise, that will help them a lot. Not really letting the Warriors get second shot opportunities. And then also the paint production. I don't know how the Warriors will be able to stop the paint production of the Lakers with LeBron and AD when they're playing undersized lineups with Green and Looney. They really got lucky last year playing teams like the Mavs and, the Nuggets, who Jokic doesn't really look to score as much. And even when he did, I mean, he cooked last year in the paint. His post-ups were really killing the Warriors. So when you got LeBron and AD, I think they won't be able to stop the paint production. So I got Lakers in 7 as well. I do think the Warriors will put up a dogfight. I mean, you can never count Steph, Clay, and Draymond out in a series. I think those guys are still undefeated when those 3 play every game of the series. So yeah, I'm not going to count them out, but LeBron and AD, I think they're really going to get it done. I do want to talk about this, though. two players, the headlines, LeBron and Steph Curry, both have 4 championships. Eric, I'll go back to you. Which player do you think getting a 5th ring would mean more, LeBron or Steph?
Okay, see, I think the obvious answer, in my opinion, is LeBron because of the whole GOAT conversation and all that. But I'm going to go Steph because A, I think that makes him undoubtedly the best point guard of all time. Don't change my mind. And B, whose era does it really become over the last years, decade? LeBron's or Steph's, especially if the Warriors beat LeBron right now en route to Steph's 5th.
That's an interesting perspective,
That is
especially
a good
the last point. I was going to say LeBron solely for the fact of the GOAT conversation. That's a bit of a boring argument, but I think it's something that's worth talking about because, at least for me personally, if he wins another ring this season, I will be willing to say that he's probably the greatest player of all time. And I know that's the case for a lot of people. It's going to be very hard to argue against that, especially with him getting the scoring title. That's a tough one, though. I mean, because Curry, yeah, he'll be, I would think, top 10, probably, maybe, of all time with another ring. That's a really tough one. I'd still go LeBron, though.
Yeah, I'll just elaborate more on what Sammy said. Eric, great point, though. This was very tough for me, too, because, I mean, Steph is becoming the greatest player at his position if he gets a 5th ring, and also the era talk. People don't really understand, if Steph does get that 5th ring, he did change the game in terms of making it a more perimeter-oriented game, and playing with pace and space in the NBA has become the new normal with teams like the Kings and, whatnot. But I think it's LeBron, simply for the fact that what better testament to his longevity than a championship?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because Jordan was 34 when he won his last championship. Kareem was 41, right? But, I mean, he clearly was not the focal point of that team. He was there, but he wasn't really playing at the best player level. I mean, you can still argue that LeBron is arguably the best player in the league. I won't say he's the best player in the league, but you can still make that argument. I think that's fair. But yeah, to be 38, be arguably in the top 5 conversation, and winning a champ, that's so hard to argue in terms of the GOAT conversation. There is no better testament to his longevity than a championship at the age of 38.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean that's my key point. What better testament than topping off the scoring record with a championship and arguably being the best player on a championship team at the age of 38. So that's what I feel like gives me the edge over Steph Curry getting that 5th ring. So
also a good point.
So yeah.
Yeah. I can agree with all that for sure.
Yeah. I think it also makes up for the fact that LeBron lost those earlier finals. A lot of people want to bring up the finals losses. I mean, I think this would be his 11th finals appearance if he makes
Correct.
it and wins it. So, I mean, just the fact that he won it later than Jordan did, that, I think that makes up for it a little bit. He's only one away. I know 6-0 is hard to argue, but yeah, I think that's a good argument. It really makes that playing field more level to a lot of those Jordan fans. So yeah. Another great semifinal series. Let's head out east. Knicks Heat. Jimmy Butler unfortunately got hurt. Hopefully he is good to go and gets healthy later in this series. He has been playing some great basketball. Eric, I'll go back to you. Just predictions for the series, honestly.
So first of all, the severity of his injury, that's unknown still, right?
Yes.
I believe so.
Although getting that road win helps because I don't know if they have, but if I was Miami, I would just send him back now and just rule him out. But who knows? Who knows? I think that would they got the road win. You might as well just send him back but we'll see.
Mhm.
They haven't
No,
really.
that's fair.
No
That's
news
fair.
has been brought out yet.
No, 100%. That road win's huge because it's Madison Square Garden. If Jimmy was completely healthy this whole series, like I think one win at MSG almost guarantees them the win of the series.
Yeah.
But right now, how it is, I think it's simple. If he's out for a majority of the series, Knicks win. If Jimmy can even play in a Game 7 situation, I trust him to get it done. And then I think the Heat are an Eastern Conference Finals team. So with that being said, if I have to make an exact prediction, even though it's tough right now, but like you said, Pavon, you make predictions barring injuries. So I'll say Heat in 7. But yeah, it literally all depends. So
Yeah, I think that's I was gonna say the same thing. I think it's really difficult to say right now, just due to the status of Jimmy Butler or Himothy Butler, as Blaine would say. But I think, again, barring injury, I originally had the Heat in 6 over the Knicks, and I know it's surprising not having them in 7. But I trust Jimmy Butler. You know, he's proven that he can show up in the playoffs time and time again. You know, Bam's been doing his thing. I will take the Heat, and I hate the Knicks. So that's also why.
We know.
quick shout out before you
Context.
give your final words, Pavon, to Gabe Vincent. No elaboration, just shout out to Gabe Vincent. He's a great guy.
Hope he's having a good day. Actually, no, I hope he's having a bad day. He threw a ball at Tyler Hero's hand. He's wrong for that.
Hey man,
Did his boy wrong.
Oh my god.
Justice for
Why would
Tyler.
you rotate the ball there? Why? Like why? You know what? I wish I could retract that statement for you because I don't know who Gabe Vincent thinks he is. Like taking all those
He's a
shots in game
sharpshooter.
1, bro. Who does he think
Does he
he is?
do?
Like he thought he was Steph Curry. Like relax. But no. Here's
Shout
the
out
thing for
Nikola
me.
Jovic.
I feel like Jimmy Butler's shooting
Too
numbers
far, buddy.
in the first round series. I'm not trying to hate, but his shooting numbers and overall the Heat with their perimeter jumpers, their shooting numbers, I feel like was kind of an anomaly. I don't know if they'll be able to shoot as well again from the perimeter. Now, will Jimmy Butler show up? Yes, he will show up. But will the Heat get consistent perimeter production the whole entire series? I think that's tough to judge.
shout out Gabe Vincent.
And the thing that people also
Shut the
aren't
hell up.
talking about is Julius Randle was also hurt for game 1. So you get Randle and Butler hopefully getting healthy later in the series. I think the Knicks even it up at home, maybe split on the road, and then you get a long series, and I think the Knicks will win in 7 at the Garden. Just getting Randle and Butler healthy again. So yeah, give me Knicks in 7 at the Garden.
Going back to Julius Randle, though, do you think his performance or lack thereof in round 1 was also an anomaly? You think he'll be able to come back from that?
I don't think it's really about even the production. It's just like just having another guy out there helps. Because you could really
draw
see
attention.
that the Heat were really just collapsing on Brunson more so than the Cavs did. And Barrett showed up. But like just having another guy out there will help Brunson out a lot. The Heat were really hounding him the way they did last year against Trae Young. Now Brunson did show up, to his credit. He did give them buckets, but yeah, I think just having another guy out there will help a lot. Especially when he's played so well in the regular season. I know this was the same story with the Hawks series 2 years ago. But yeah, just having another threat out there helps so much. More so than people realize, even though the stat sheet might not say that. But yeah, that's really my thoughts on it. Another East semifinal series, Celtics-Sixers. We just witnessed a classic, by the way. That game won by Harden. Harden, please do not get my hopes up, man. Every single year, I'm like, oh my God, Harden's got a real shot. Harden's got a real shot. Please don't get my hopes up, right? You still got 3 more wins. You got 3 more wins. But yeah, with Joel Embiid being hurt, Harden dropping an absolute masterclass on the road, getting the job done, getting that road win, helping out with Embiid's injury too, really doesn't force him to come back for a game 2, gives him time to rest and make sure he's really ready to go for game 3 in a series where you need all your guys and all hands on deck. Eric, I'll go back to you though. Just predictions overall, really.
So, before this game tonight, Monday night, I said I wrote down here Sixers and 7, and I'm gonna stick with that pick. Now, on a surface level, after seeing this game tonight, you might be like, I don't know, the Sixers might get it done quicker. They just did all that without Embiid. Like, they look great. But the Celtics also looked very careless in the fourth. It was a series of bad events credit to Marcus Smart. He was trying to close that game out, drawing fouls and ones. What should have been a charge, at least in my opinion.
He was moving.
Was he? I thought that
He
foot
was
was
moving.
set. I don't know.
moving.
It was close to me.
But see, you're focused on the feet though. The body was still moving a little bit.
Does body matter?
That's
Really?
on the
Does the body
on the
matter? Yeah, wait.
slide. You could tell the body was moving a little bit.
The
So
body matters. Actually, didn't even,
so
I'm not
like
gonna lie,
I
didn't
think
know
I
that.
think it's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of both. So
I thought as long as his feet. Anyway, he was hustling. Is the point?
You do not know the rules.
But that's true.
you don't.
But no, the careless events where the Sixers played defense really well, forced basically a shot clock violation, except they ended up turning it over for a Maxey wide open dunk. And then in the final seconds, where the Celtics had the opportunity to, I think, tie or win the game, because I think it was a 2-point game. Paul Reed, I think, got in the midst of it, was about to go out of bounds with it, and then Tatum just fouled him, stupid foul, and that made the Sixers go up by 4. So, series of bad, careless events from the Celtics, and with that being said, that actually gives me some hope that for the Celtics that the series isn't gone for them. They're not a team to constantly flounder like that. So, but like I said, I still have Sixers and 7, mostly because they were my Eastern Conference champions pick. But the Sixers also have a new culture this year without Simmons, and it's an opportunity for Embiid to really prove himself. And yeah, I'll give it to you, Sammy.
Yeah, I'm on the other side of this, having the Celtics in the finals. But I'll tell you that the back end of the first round series against the Hawks in this game kind of scares me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. Like you said, the Celtics, not the Sixers, being very careless, almost seeming like they've never been in that spot before, which they have. They went to the finals last year. But I still got them in 7. I'm sticking with it. I'm sticking with the Celtics in 7. James Harden proves yet again that he still has the ability to lead a team, at least for, until Embiid gets back. He can hold the fort down with an incredible performance. Maxey also, we should give him some love because I thought, played a really good game as well.
yeah, very fair. I think Maxey is underrated, but that's typically how the young guards go. They usually don't get enough love until, I don't know. I don't know what the criteria is for him to be selected, but
You need to be this tall.
yeah, that's typically how the guards go. They really just have
Criteria
to
to be
get the credit
selected.
at some point.
But I wasn't.
But I
I-
actually had Philly in 6. I'm gonna be completely honest. I have been low on Philly, but the additions of Melton, the additions of Tucker
What?
and McDaniels, just bringing a toughness to their roster. And Melton, I feel like, is so underrated in terms of what he can bring to a game on any given night. He can bring scoring. He defends his butt off. I actually had Philly winning a road game and then getting it in 6. So, I mean, I had that before this game, and they got their road win. So, hopefully my prediction holds true. But I did want to talk about this. Both teams, especially the Sixers, eyeing that championship, eyeing that finals berth and getting back to the promised land, which team exiting early would be more disappointing? Eric, I'll go back to you.
Okay, so like the LeBron Steph debate, I'm gonna give kind of both sides of this. I think for most, the obvious pick would be the Celtics, just because they're obviously looking to go back-to-back finals appearances, especially with the Bucks out of their way now. But for me, the Sixers would be more disappointing, because A, like I said, they were my pick, but also B, and I guess I already touched on this a second ago, but Embiid finally has a team with better chemistry / no Ben Simmons. And I feel like aside from that year where they had Jimmy and JJ, this is like a serious year for Embiid and the Sixers to prove something. And so being a second round exit yet again would be extremely disappointing for me, because this would make it another year where they don't even make the conference finals. And that, I think that really would say something about Embiid at this point. I mean, people are already saying that, and if it's another year, it starts to become, well, can he do this in Philly at all? So,
See, here's my issue. I also had the Sixers, thinking that Eric might go the Celtics. But yeah, I also was gonna go based off of the Sixers' past performances in the playoffs, and also because this team really feels like the team that can take them all the way this season with the additions that you mentioned, Pavon. But playing devil's advocate, it's also like I feel like it'd be huge for Jason Tatum if he got a ring. Just throwing it out there, him and Jaylen Brown both. I think that could be huge to their resumes as well. So it's a very good question, something to think about. But I would also go with the Sixers.
Yeah, see, I was going to say Sixers too, but for a different point, more so the fact that, let's be completely honest, Celtics and Lakers are two franchises where you exit at any point, they're going to be disappointed. I mean, those are two teams that are always eyeing championships. Anything less than a championship is a disappointment for them. Not that it isn't for any other team, but more so in those two teams, given the history of them winning championships and the amount of championships that they've won. They're not taking anything less than a championship in Beantown. Let's just keep it completely real. Like, they are always eyeing that championship. Another finals berth would really mean nothing to them. They want that championship. So for that reason, I would go Philly. And also Harden. I mean, how many years does he really have left at playing at this peak level? I mean, he was the assist leader this year. He still has the juice to go out and provide that scoring punch and go back to Houston Harden if he really has to. So I don't know how many more years he really has left in the tank. And for Embiid, he's also, for a big man, I mean, He's on that older side as well. I mean, how many more years can he just not have a conference finals berth and not go far in the playoffs? So yeah, they're really just running out of time, to be completely honest with you. But yeah, that was really my case.
It really does feel like there's no
arguing for Philly.
It does feel like there's really no better time than now for Philly.
yeah.
As well.
Yeah. I mean, you can't get much better in terms of the depth that they have on the roster right now.
For sure.
Too. It really cannot get much better.
And with the Harden rumors, are those true? Like, going back to Houston, like, what is that about?
I don't know. This offseason is going to be very interesting, honestly.
Like, I don't know why on earth he would do that, but
I mean, we've heard about Harden going back to Houston. We've
The
heard
only-
Jaylen Brown possibly leaving Boston. I mean, these are two teams that could potentially be, like, they could move on from two stars this offseason. Like, who knows? Who really knows?
The only situation in which I'd see Harden leaving to go to the Rockets especially is if he wins a ring this year. That's the only situation in which I'd think is like I think he would leave. I don't think he would leave without a championship on his own accord.
Why would he not want to run it back, though?
That's fair.
Also that.
I'm just thinking about him as I don't know. That's fair, but I'm saying, like, I don't think he would leave regardless, but I think if he wins a championship, I guess I don't know. That's tough though.
Yeah, it's like to me though. In that case, like, if you get a championship, I feel like once you get that taste of winning a championship, like I don't know if he would want to
That's
just
fair.
let that go again. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Because you're not winning a
unless
championship.
you could possibly team up with another guy, maybe. But like again, the Eastern Conference is a little bit easier than the Western Conference. Just to keep it completely honest with you, but
That's fair.
who knows? Who knows? With that being said, I'll pass the ball out to you guys. It's a great episode today. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Follow us on all socials. Keep showing us love because we love you too. And yeah, with that being said, peace.